Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, His Excellency, Mr. Mohammed Naseem, the Minister of Health from Bangladesh, members of the panel, friends, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'd like to thank the organizers for having given me the opportunity to be part of this esteemed panel, and to Bangladesh for having taken leadership in providing more focus on this issue of autism, particularly in the developing and less developed countries. As was alluded by the Minister from Bangladesh, I think customarily and historically, autism has been related with a condition of high social stigma. And it is important that there is a transition from this perception to identify this group of disorders with deficit in social communication and interaction to be part of a spectrum of diseases which will lead to good prognosis in the event of rightful intervention at the correct point of time. First and foremost, of course, the prevalence of autism is pretty high, as what has been documented in some studies, between 1 to 2.5% of the population. And the unfortunate thing in most parts of the world, I think our detection falls much below these rates which have been described in some countries, including in Malaysia. I think we are guilty of not having actually had an optimal detection of those who probably have autism. And the other point which we have to recognize is the fact that despite having autistic, evidence shows that nearly 36 to 50% of autistic children have normal or higher than normal intellectual capabilities, suggesting that interventions can actually give results for being self-determining and also good. As Mrs. Shaima will know, that in a recent autism conference which we had in Malaysia, 2 autistic children actually performed, one a pianist and the other singing, of a very, very high caliber, showing that their capabilities is in line or probably better than the average person in certain areas of skills. And in our challenges to ensure that we manage autism properly, which is I think common to Malaysia and common to most other parts of the world, is of course increasing our capacity to detect autistic children. And in Malaysia we have a tool called M-Chart, which is a chart for screening of autistic children, which we have rolled out in our primary health centers to primary health doctors and primary health nurses. So they will be able to screen them within the first, from 9 months to 3 years of age, at 3 phases of time to ensure a high detection of this. So this is an ongoing process, and I hope with increasing their capacity and skill, we will be able to diagnose more of these autistic children as time goes by. The other thing is, of course, the presence and facility, the facilities of people who have got a specialized interest in this group of disorders, particularly among primary care physicians, among pediatricians, and among neurologists, who have got an increased awareness, skill, and knowledge in this area, so they can actually probably assist us in detection at a higher level. And once you've diagnosed it, then of course the challenge is how are you going to manage this group of children so that to optimize their performance and function. And one area which I would like to emphasize is, of course, in the management of autism, like in most other disorders, and probably much more than in other disorders, is the involvement of the family. I think the involvement of the family, the empowerment of the parents, and the education of the parents will be a pivotal role in the management of autistic disorders. And I think that is very, very important. And I think buying in of the parents as an important component of the whole area of management, from the beginning to the end, will be one area of success in autistic management. And having done that, we all will know that the management of autism will involve a multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary involvement, and it is essential for states to be able to actually prepare for that, because the management involves different groups of people. There's a whole area of information and suggestions on the role of nutrition, and parents, particularly in today's day and time, where we are bombarded with knowledge and information, when they will be actually faced with a deluge of information through which they have to sift through to find out which is useful and which is not useful. So in that process, I think it's very, very important that we actually, the management people can actually guide parents and be able to go through this whole lot of information. So I think the spectrum of people who are involved in this management will involve nutritionists, dietitians, and of course the other group like clinical psychologists, occupational therapists, and educationists, particularly with the patients and special interest in the management of this group of children. And I think this is very important because we have a program where we used to actually send these students into special classes within our normal education system. But I think that has not been very, very productive in giving good results, because whatever you do, a teacher who is not formally and actually has a focus on the management of these disorders might not be able to give the correct kind of results which one who has got a greater focus and actually trained in managing this kind of. So it's important for the training of educationists with a special interest. So to summarize this, I think as health organizations, wherever in whichever part of the world, we have got a responsibility to ensure that we can incorporate the screening at the primary care level itself and empower people at that level to have the skills and tools necessary to optimize this level of screening. And then we have to invest in capacity development of an area of manpower requirements, trials ranging from dietitians, nutritionists to occupational therapists who can form the entire tool in managing this. And of course create an enabling environment where the parents will be a pivotal member of this managing program by educating them, buying them in, and of course managing the emotional and other consequences which this has on the family itself. And I think that managing is vital, and providing the hardware and infrastructure necessary for this. And least, of course, there is a need for states, government, and institutes, academic institutions to continue research and development in this area to answer a lot of the unanswered questions which actually go around on the area of autism, and of course leadership. Recently, Malaysia actually sponsored an international seminar on autism, and we are thankful because the leadership for that came from the wife of a prime minister, and through her linkages with a lot of first ladies in the world, this conference actually attracted the participation, a number of first ladies from the world to participate. I'm not saying that the first ladies attend a conference is a good thing, but the fact that their presence actually gave a leadership which I think will form a propelling force in driving the agenda in individual countries. And I think this is important. And through the initiative of our First Lady, our Prime Minister, the wife of our Prime Minister, in my country.
Oh,
In your country is the daughter of the Prime Minister. And so in my country, and we are actually now, she has driven an agenda to create a center of excellence for autism, which will look into the entire spectrum of autism, as what I said. So I think leadership is important in whatever form it comes. And so I think this leadership will form the pivotal role in driving this agenda, so that there will be more buy-in from the leaders and those in power, so that they will see this as an important aspect of development. Because whatever said and done, before I end it, is the management of autism has got economic implications to the state. And all data shows the investment actually gives you return many folds. And I think it makes a logical sense for states to invest rightfully in the management of autism. Thank you very much.